It's Rick B&AZ, and today we're going to see if this tool actually works. The volunteer for today's experiment is the full-size spare I've got for the Corolla. Right, so here we go. I've got the tyre lever hooked under the bead there. I've got my little bead assistant here to help guide the bead down. I pull this back. It should come up over the top like this. I'm actually going to stick this in to stop it turning with me. Hopefully this will hold it. Okay, here we go. It's sliding around pretty easily. I have to move the camera. Almost no force now. It's just lifting it above the top of the wheel rim. Once I take that little bead assistant out, it'll come off. Like so. Now I have to get down into the second one. Right, so what I'm doing here, I've got the tyre lever in. I'm going to lift the tyre so that I can get the hook on the lever in the right spot. I'm going to put my little sticky tool in to stop it turning. I'm going to start turning it. You can see where I've got to stop this thing from turning, which is a little hard with this because it is kind of slippery. Okay, so I've got that in the position I want it to be in. So I'm going to move the camera a little. The camera a bit more. See how it's going over, and that is quite an easy turn. So doing a quick demonstration here of how I do balancing. I do it in two steps. First I balance the hub, and what I've done here, because I've already balanced it, I've taped a big old wheel weight so I know it's going to go that way on the vertical balance. So when it gets to the bottom, you mark it. Mark the bottom, right about there. Take it up the other side, let it go back that way, and I'm going to mark it again. So for the initial balance, that's all you need. You just need two. The heavy spot is in the middle, so what I'm going to do is when I install the tyre, I'm going to line up the yellow bit, the yellow dot on the tyre in this place. Now actually I've marked over here where I'm going to line it up, because remember I've already pre-balanced this tyre. This is just for a demonstration, so I'm going to line it up over here. But if this was a brand new tyre going on, first time balancing the wheel, this is how you do it. Right, so this is the tyre going back on. There's a red dot over here. That is supposed to be for if you're measuring out a round, but nobody does that. The yellow dot over here is the light spot on the tyre, and you want to put that at the heavy spot you just found by balancing on the rim. That minimises the weight you're going to have to add. I've got the inside part of the tyre all lubed up. This is the side that doesn't have the yellow dot. The easiest way to get these tyres on, you rotate it round to where it's supposed to go, is just shove them on. On a steel rim, this is actually pretty easy. And there it is. So that's the first bead on. Now the next bead's a little trickier. I'll be lubing up this side and underneath. So I've got my little tool on that keeps this bit down. I'm going to start right next to it. And we're going to start pulling it around. It's okay if it slips up onto that second one. That is actually how you're supposed to do it. Here, let me move it over here. You can see it's up over this top one and still below this one. So that's okay to do. Okay. Yeah, I need to come over the top of my little tool here. I heard a little bit of creaking there, a complaint. This is the hardest bead to put on. I'm not using that much force. And there it goes. It's on. Okay, I haven't sprung for my own little pancake to press either. So I'll do it by foot. For most of it, it works. And this kind of tyre, really difficult to do on a golf cart tyre. There goes one bead. That's the one on the back. There's still a bit over that far side that needs to go. Well, that was the bead going on the top there. So now the beads are set. Just pump it up all the way. You don't need to see that. Okay, so as I already mentioned, this wheel is already balanced, so it's not really going to move much. I've got it back on roughly where it's supposed to be, so it looks good. But I'm going to put a fake weight on here to show you how to balance it. Okay, so now we've got the weight back on, and you can see the wheel is heading towards the heavy spot. A little poke here. You can do the same from this direction. And it's starting to slowly go back. Yeah, eventually it's going to settle to right about here, where the weight is. And that's where you want to determine that is the heavy spot for the tyre. And that you're going to put the weights on opposite where that is. Okay, so a note about putting the weights on. I think I've come to prefer putting them on the inside. this is very close to the center of gravity. There's 2 1/4 ounce weights here. That big one I had on to make it out of balance is 1 1/4 ounce. You want to try and get it near the CG because that gets rid of a thing called dynamic balance. If you just bash these weights on one side, a couple of them, you're going to get a shudder in the steering wheel at about 60 miles an hour. The best thing you can do if you have to put a lot of weight on is split them evenly between the rims. Put one on the inside and one on the outside. If you can't do that, I'd highly recommend putting them on the CG, which is usually just behind this surface, just back from there a little. That's usually where it is. That way you don't get that dynamic vibration. Makes the wheel shake. So pumped up and balanced, this tyre is ready for a spare.